There is one imposter among us. Today, we got the episode we all been waiting on. Yo, what's up, everyone? Treyman1 here. Welcome back to another Pokémon Journeys anime review, guys. Today, we are covering episode 68. Gary returns, Infernape returns, Ash's Pokemon return, Ash versus Moltres. So much in this episode that I gotta talk about, and I love it so much. So let's go to get right into this. Two things I want to mention before we begin is huge shout out to Screaming Deagle over on Twitter for making these Among Us artworks of us that I used in the beginning. Yo, this is really cool. Thank you so much, bro. And also be sure to check out me, TASO, and Goggle Master's reaction to this episode over on TASO's channel. The link will be in the description once it's out. So let's go to get right into this. For starters, I just want to mention how well this episode developed both Ash and Ghost characters. For one, this was Ash seeing his old Pokemon and actually reuniting and getting some more development with these old Pokemon. And for Go, I did not expect Go to have so much development in this episode. Journeys has been episodic, but this episode had no episodicness to it. Basically, Go, in the start of this episode, doesn't want to do Project Mew. He's like, I don't work well in teams. But throughout this episode, with his interactions with Gary Oak, it inspires him to join. Like, I love how they did this. Instead of, starting Project Mew off like Oak mentioning this, Go's like, oh, of course I want to do it. And, getting right into it, they actually took some time to develop it. And I love that the way they did it so well, making Gary a rival to Go. And man, there was so much nostalgia in this episode. We got to see all the Pokemon that were shown in the scans that appeared in this episode, along with a few additions. We get to see Tauros and Muck. Those were two big surprises. I was like, yo, I can't believe they're actually appearing. I thought we were going to see a bit more, but nope, it was just these few, which, I'm totally fine with that. We got to see these for now. I feel like later on in Journeys, we will come back and see more of the Pokemon, along with seeing the Journeys team finally get interactions. Unfortunately, they didn't get that in this episode, but that wasn't the main focus of this episode, so I kind of let it slide. The flashbacks in this episode were great too. Oak was mentioning that Infernape was missing. Ash explains, oh yeah, Infernape was my Pokemon that I trained up in the Sinnoh region. We get to see Journeys style Sinnoh Ash, and it's so awesome seeing the growth of Chimchar into Infernape. Not only that, but we even get to see moments like Ash versus Paul, Ash versus Gary. Gary really carried this episode. I love the way he came into this episode, helping them with the whole Onyx situation. Also, I bet you this is the same Onyx from Sun and Moon that Mr. Gata Marowak himself had pissed off. But yo, seeing Gary come back, mentioning that he saw Ash and Paul's fight in the Sinnoh League, I loved Gary in this moment. Gary shows so much respect for Ash. Like, Gary had a similar moment to Kiawe. When Kiawe first met Go, along with Gary, they were both like, are you really able to hold up to be Ash's companion, Ash's rival, Ash's friend, this, that, and the other? While Kiawe was more focused on him being a rival, Gary was focused on, just being a companion. Like, he actually was saying, Ash is this really good trainer, and do you hold up to Ash's standards? I really do love Gary's admiration and respect for Ash. It shows, ever since they, back in Johto to now, he's had a lot of respect for Ash, and especially since he's seen the Sinnoh League. He may have seen some of the other leagues as well that Ash has participated in. This just warms my heart so much seeing this. And when Infernape finally comes back to us, bro, this brought so much joy to me. Seeing Infernape, so happy to see Ash jumping on him, hugging him. I just love this so much, man. It's also brought to us that Infernape actually has been training with Charizard, Talonflame, Pignite, and Quilava to prepare for this fight with Moltres. For one, I love that they trained with Talonflame because, Talonflame actually fought Moltres as well. That's how he evolved. So I thought that was a cool little nod. I wish they kind of flashed back that moment as well. Yeah, I know that wasn't the focus, but that would have been nice to see. Talonflame fought Moltres, or maybe if Talonflame came along to witness this fight, I think that would have been even better, but that would have been a lot for this episode. I think that's one of the issues, is that there was so much that they had to do in this one episode. I really wish it was a two-parter. That's just the one thing, but I'm not upset about it because it's Journeys. It's episodic at the end of the day, so I can't be too mad. But man, was it so good to see Ash use Infernape in battle once again. For one, all of Infernape's moves are the same: Flamethrower, Mach Punch, Dig, and Flare Blitz. Yes, that was Flare Blitz, guys. I know it looked like Flame Wheel, but if you remember in Sun and Moon, Kiawe's Marowak used the Flare Blitz in that same type of way where it looked like a Flame Wheel. Now, I don't know why I didn't change blue. I thought that would have at least been a nice touch to add to make sure like we knew it was Flare Blitz, but I don't really mind it too much. Unfortunately, the fight with Infernape wasn't that long though. Infernape did get a nice, good battling, but it couldn't stand up. And, you know, I really love Gary's fight in this moment. Gary and Blastoise. Oh my gosh, Gary still got it, yo. I really want to see Ash and Gary battle again because the way Gary was fighting with Blastoise with the rapid spin and the speed and the flying through the air, bro, Gary went in. My gosh. We also get to see Burn Up for the first time, and you know, Burn Up is a pretty good move. I used it with my Colossal in the games, but seeing it in the anime was cool, especially with how Moltres looked after the Burn Up with his fire gone. And I love that everyone did something. You know, even Cinderace, it didn't get to land the hit, but everyone took place in this battle. Electivire, Pikachu, it really was a great fight. I just wish we got to see a bit more. Like, it was too short to be true, you know. Infernape, I really wish Infernape got the win or at least got a few more good hits in. Because, you know, it has been training for this fight. But still, I loved what they gave us at least. This episode also confirms that Gary is for part of Project Mew, which means that Gary and Go are officially rivals. And I love the way that they acted in this episode. Throughout this episode, we get to see Gary has so much respect for Ash, you know, them catching up and everything. But when it came to Go, Gary was really taunting, being like Gary in the original series, how he was to Ash. He was like, you know, are you really able to be Ash's companion? Will you be able to keep up with us? This, that, and the other. Oh, I see you didn't want to participate in Project Mew. Probably good for you because you're not ready yet. So, you know, all of the stuff that Gary was saying, in the end, Ogle mentions that Gary wants Go to be a part of this. You know, he wants to see Girl grow as a trainer, and that's just Gary's way of, you know, kind of saying it, which I love so much. And I really can't wait to see how their rivalry unfolds in the future. Gary's character in this episode, as a researcher, we see his growth. He felt so much more mature since like how he was back in the original series to now, and I love it so much. The end of the episode was very wholesome as well, of Infernape telling all the fire type Pokemon about his adventures, but I do gotta admit, it is kind of bad. It's kind of sad that Torkoal wasn't here. Yes, I know Torkoal sucked, but you know, Torkoal is one of Ash's fire type Pokemon at the lab. But I think it would have been nice if we got to see Torkoal participate along with the other Pokemon here. Like, since this was an episode focused on the fire types, I wonder if we'll get one on the water types, grass, and that's how they're going to kind of show off more of Ash's Pokemon throughout the series. I think that would be pretty awesome. And while I didn't notice this at first, my bro Kiro Blitz actually mentioned on Twitter that Project Mew is actually taking inspiration from Pokemon Go. And yes, I actually played Pokemon Go a lot, so I do know what he means now. And that's the research missions. As we see, Gary earns a token from collecting this feather from Moltres. Basically, in Pokemon Go, you take on a lot of research tasks, and in the end, you get this breakthrough where you may end up meeting a mythical or legendary Pokemon. You end up earning these tokens and having to do a lot of crazy tasks, I'll admit, but still, in the end, it does pay off. So I do think this is pretty cool that they're taking stuff from Pokemon Go and implementing it into the anime. My only question now is, why the heck is the Corviknight taxi in Kanto? Overall, this episode's rating is a solid 9 out of 10. Now, yes, I do love this episode. It is a very great episode. The only few issues I do have, though, is that it's a bit rushed and Infernape. Now, I love Infernape's role in this episode, but, you know, it doesn't come with Ash in the end of this episode, so I'm kind of wondering, is this all going to be for nothing? Like, are we just seeing Infernape this one time and we're never going to see him again or never see Ash's Pokemon again in the series? Or are they actually going to do something with this where Infernape come back for the World Championship, or maybe just to come back for more Project Mew? Like, I'm really hoping Infernape and all Ash's other Pokemon do lead to something more. But we don't know with Journeys. We're still waiting on a lot of unanswered questions. So that's why I'm kind of taking it with a grain of salt. But hey, we do see Volkner is coming soon. So I think we do have our high hopes. We just have to wait and see. But yeah, everyone in the comment section down below, let me know what y'all thought of this hype, amazing episode, because I loved it. Gary definitely made the episode for me. Thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. TrainMan1. Peace out.